When we talk about staying focused on your purpose, it's not just about setting a goal and hoping for the best. It's about truly committing to a direction and letting it guide every decision you make, every step you take, and every action you put out into the world. Distractions are everywhere. They come disguised as opportunities, entertainment, or even harmless breaks. But the reality is that distractions are thieves of time and energy, and they can rob you of the very momentum you need to fulfill your purpose. Staying focused begins with clarity. You need to know what you're chasing and why it matters to you. Your purpose isn't just a vague dream or a fleeting wish. It's the fire that burns within you, the thing that wakes you up in the morning and keeps you going when others have already quit. It's that deeply personal, almost sacred sense of calling that only you can define for yourself. Without clarity, it's easy to wander aimlessly, chasing after shiny objects or the next big thing. But when you know your purpose, when you're locked in on it, everything else fades into the background. The world we live in thrives on distraction. Social media, endless notifications, countless opinions, and external expectations pull at you from every direction. It's easy to get caught up in the noise, scrolling endlessly, comparing yourself to others, or worrying about things that don't actually move the needle in your life. These distractions may seem harmless in the moment, but over time, they compound into wasted hours, days, and even years. Before you know it, you've drifted so far off course that your purpose feels like a distant memory. Staying focused on your purpose requires discipline, and discipline starts with boundaries. You have to set limits on what you allow into your mind and your life. That might mean turning off your phone during certain hours, saying no to projects or commitments that don't align with your goals, or even distancing yourself from people who drain your energy or distract you from your vision. Boundaries aren't about being selfish or rigid. They're about protecting what matters most. Your time, your energy, and your attention are finite resources. If you don't guard them fiercely, they'll slip through your fingers. But clarity and boundaries alone aren't enough. You have to remind yourself every day why you started. It's easy to lose sight of your purpose in the grind of daily life, especially when progress feels slow or obstacles start piling up. This is where having a clear vision and a strong why becomes your anchor. Your why is what keeps you grounded when the waves of doubt, frustration, and distraction try to pull you under. Write it down, say it out loud, keep it somewhere you can see it every single day. Let it be the fuel that powers you through the hard times. Staying focused also means being intentional with your time. Every hour of your day should reflect your purpose in some way. That doesn't mean you have to work nonstop or never take a break, but it does mean that your choices should align with your larger goals. Ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now getting me closer to where I want to be? If the answer is no, it's time to course correct. Time is the one thing you can never get back, and how you spend it determines the trajectory of your life. Another critical element of focus is eliminating excuses. It's easy to blame external circumstances for why you're not where you want to be, but the truth is, the biggest obstacles are often internal. Fear, self-doubt, procrastination, these are the real enemies of focus. They creep in when you're tired, when things get tough, or when success feels out of reach. But you can't let them win. Confront them head on and remind yourself that your purpose is bigger than your fears. Focus also requires consistency. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about building habits and routines that support your goals and make it easier to stay on track. Small, consistent actions may not seem like much in the moment, but over time, they add up to massive results. Consistency is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Finally, staying focused means learning to tune out the noise of other people's opinions. Everyone has an idea of what you should do, how you should live, and what's realistic. But their opinions aren't your reality. Your purpose is yours and yours alone, and no one else has to understand it. Don't let the voices of others drown out your own inner voice. Trust yourself and trust the path you've chosen. Phenomenal. Saying no is one of the most underestimated skills when it comes to achieving success. Saying no isn't just about turning down an invitation, skipping a project, or avoiding a time-consuming task. It's about protecting your priorities, your time, and your energy. It's about drawing a line in the sand and refusing to let anything or anyone pull you away from the path you're walking. In a world that constantly demands your attention, learning to say no is not just a skill, it's a necessity. The first step in mastering this power is recognizing that every yes comes with a cost. When you agree to something that isn't aligned with your goals, you're not just adding one more thing to your plate, you're taking time and energy away from the things that matter most. Time is finite, energy is limited, and every yes stretches those resources thinner. Think about it. How many times have you said yes to something, only to regret it later when you realized it pulled you further from what you were trying to achieve? How many times have you overcommitted, leaving yourself drained, overwhelmed, and scattered? Saying no isn't about being rude or selfish. It's about being deliberate, but saying no isn't always easy, and that's where people struggle. There's a natural tendency to want to please others, to avoid conflict, or to be seen as accommodating and agreeable. You don't want to disappoint your boss, your friends, or your family. You don't want to risk missing out on an opportunity. But what people often forget is that every unnecessary yes chips away at your ability to give your best to what truly matters. It's not about saying no for the sake of saying no. It's about saying no so you can say yes to the right thing. One of the biggest hurdles to saying no is guilt. You feel guilty for turning people down, for setting boundaries, or for prioritizing yourself. But the truth is, you're not doing anyone any favors by stretching yourself too thin. When you try to do everything, you end up doing nothing well. When you try to be everything to everyone, you lose yourself in the process. The guilt of saying no is temporary, but the regret of neglecting your purpose can last a lifetime. To say no effectively, you need to get clear on your priorities. When you know what you're working toward, what's important, and what truly deserves your time, saying no becomes less about rejecting something and more about protecting something. It's easier to say no when you understand what's at stake. Every time you say no to a distraction, you're saying yes to your dreams, your growth, and your future. Sabotage. Saying no also requires courage. It takes strength to stand firm in your decisions, especially when others don't understand or agree. People will question you, pressure you, and try to change your mind. They might even criticize you for putting yourself first. But here's the thing, it's not their life, it's yours. They don't have to live with the consequences of your choices. You do. So you have to be bold enough to prioritize your purpose, even if it means disappointing others. Another key aspect of saying no is understanding that not everything that looks like an opportunity is actually an opportunity. Sometimes what seems like a chance to grow or advance is really just a distraction in disguise. You have to learn to discern between what will genuinely move you forward and what will simply keep you busy. This requires self-awareness, critical thinking, and a willingness to trust your instincts. Saying no isn't just about declining what doesn't serve you. It's also about creating space for what does. When your schedule is packed with unnecessary commitments, you leave no room for spontaneity, creativity, or meaningful progress. Saying no gives you the freedom to focus, to breathe, and to pour your energy into what truly matters. It's not about being lazy or avoiding responsibility. It's about being intentional. The beauty of saying no is that it gets easier with practice. The more you do it, the more confident you become in your ability to set boundaries and protect your priorities. You start to realize that the world doesn't end when you say no, that people will adapt, and that your time is too valuable to waste on things that don't align with your purpose. Saying no is a skill, but it's also a mindset. It's about shifting your perspective and understanding that you don't have to do everything, be everything, or please everyone. It's about recognizing that your purpose deserves your full attention and that anything that pulls you away from it isn't worth the cost. When you embrace the power of saying no, you take control of your life, your time, and your energy, and you set yourself up for true success. Discipline over motivation is a concept that often gets overlooked because motivation is more exciting, more inspiring, and more immediate. People love the idea of feeling motivated, the rush of energy, the surge of excitement that gets you out of bed in the morning or pushes you through a tough task. But here's the truth. Motivation is fleeting. It's unreliable. It's inconsistent. It's like the weather. It comes and goes. And if you rely on it, you'll never achieve anything lasting. Discipline, on the other hand, is the solid foundation that keeps you moving forward even when motivation has disappeared. Motivation can be a great spark, but it's not a sustainable fuel. It's that initial push that gets you started, but it can't carry you through the long, hard, and often monotonous journey to success. Discipline is what takes over when the excitement fades, when the work becomes routine, or when the obstacles pile up. It's what allows you to show up day after day, putting in the effort even when you don't feel like it. That's the difference between those who talk about achieving their goals and those who actually do it. Discipline is about commitment. It's about making a promise to yourself and keeping it no matter how you feel on any given day. Feelings are unpredictable. One day you're fired up, ready to conquer the world, and the next you're tired, stressed, or simply uninspired. If you let your feelings dictate your actions, you'll find yourself stuck in a cycle of inconsistency. Working hard when you feel motivated and falling off track when you don't. Discipline breaks that cycle. It takes the decision-making out of the equation because you've already decided in advance, this is what I'm doing no matter what. Building discipline starts with small, deliberate choices. It's not about overhauling your entire life overnight. It's about creating habits that align with your goals and sticking to them even when it's uncomfortable. Habits are the building blocks of discipline because they take the need for constant willpower out of the equation. When something becomes a habit, whether it's exercising, studying, or working on a project, it's no longer a question of whether you'll do it. It's just part of your routine. This consistency compounds over time, leading to progress and results that motivation alone could never achieve. Discipline requires structure, and structure comes from planning. When you have a clear plan, you eliminate excuses and reduce the chances of being derailed by distractions or unexpected challenges. A disciplined person doesn't wake up each day and decide in the moment what they're going to do. They already know. They've set their schedule, prioritized their tasks, and created a roadmap for success. This level of preparation ensures that even on the toughest days, they can stay on track because the path is already laid out in front of them. Another key aspect of discipline is the ability to delay gratification. In a world where everything is instant, instant entertainment, instant communication, instant rewards. It's easy to fall into the trap of seeking short-term pleasure at the expense of long-term success. Discipline teaches you to resist that urge, to focus on what truly matters rather than what feels good in the moment. It's the mindset of choosing the harder right over the easier wrong, of enduring temporary discomfort for the sake of a greater reward. Discipline also requires accountability. It's easy to make excuses when no one is watching, but true discipline means holding yourself accountable even when no one else is around. It's about setting standards for yourself and refusing to settle for anything less. This doesn't mean being harsh or overly critical. It means being honest. Did you follow through on your commitments today? Did you put in the work you said you would? If the answer is no, what are you going to do differently tomorrow? One of the toughest parts of discipline is dealing with setbacks. No matter how consistent or committed you are, there will be times when things don't go as planned. You'll miss a day, make a mistake, or face unexpected challenges. Discipline isn't about being perfect, it's about bouncing back. It's about acknowledging the setback, learning from it, and getting back on track without letting it derail your progress. That resilience is what separates the discipline from the merely motivated. Discipline doesn't just apply to the big goals or the major milestones. It's in the small, everyday choices that add up over time. It's in waking up early to get a head start on your day, in choosing to focus on your work instead of scrolling through social media, in saying no to distractions and yes to the things that align with your purpose. These choices might seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, they build the habits, routines, and mindset that lead to success. At its core, discipline is about control over your actions, your choices, and ultimately, your life. When you're disciplined, you're not at the mercy of external circumstances or fleeting emotions. You're in the driver's seat making deliberate decisions that move you closer to your goals no matter what challenges come your way. That's the true power of discipline. It's not glamorous and it's not easy, but it's the key to turning dreams into reality. Embracing sacrifice is an essential part of pursuing success and realizing your purpose. It's not something that most people want to hear, but the truth is, you can't have it all, not if you're aiming for something extraordinary. To reach your goals, you have to be willing to give up certain comforts, conveniences, and even relationships that no longer align with the direction you're heading. Sacrifice isn't easy, but it's necessary. It's the price you pay to gain something greater in return. Sacrifice begins with a choice. You must decide what's more important, your dreams or your distractions, your long-term vision or your short-term pleasures. Every choice you make comes with an opportunity cost. When you say yes to one thing, you're inevitably saying no to something else. If you're spending your evenings binge-watching shows or scrolling endlessly on social media, you're saying no to the hours you could have used to work on your craft, learn a new skill, or build your future. The question you have to ask yourself is, are the things you're saying yes to right now worth what you're sacrificing in the long run?